Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Good to see everybody. And my internet's working fine so far today, right? So, knock on wood. I got so much to share with you guys tonight. We didn't get to have much of a live last week. And so I saved a lot of the pictures from around the homestead for this live. And then obviously the stuff that happened this week. And we got a lot going on. But let's get some hellos in here real quick. So, Nostradamus, good evening. Welcome to you. Gizmo, welcome in. Skanes Girl, how are you? It seems like Skanes Girl wants to make a big announcement, but I think she's scared. Are you scared, Skanes Girl? Who else we got in here? Oh my goodness. City Greens, welcome. Hey, I think someone in here made a comment that they had made they'd put a comment in here and then it had disappeared. And guys, this is very normal. It happens all the time. So sorry about that. I don't have any control over it, but I just this week got warned on Facebook that my content was hateful, so they may remove that page. So who knows? I don't really care.
I have a line right here.
That's from wearing your sunglasses out in the garden, right? All right. I said City Greens. Good evening to you, Terminator. How you doing? Welcome in, Bessie. Hello, Jean Menke. Hello, welcome from Paris. This is a big one. So Luis Wesley says, hello, Freedom Family. We finally got our survey submitted this afternoon. Yay. And that might not seem like a big deal to many of you, but I'm going to tell you something. The work that they've had to do to get to this, the property that they had a good old boy deal on a fence line and it was crooked, and then they buy it and have to go through this whole process. And it's been like 5 visitors by the surveyors and just a big old shitstorm. And but they've just kept on and kept fighting through. And so hopefully this is kind of the end of it, and they can get busy. Stan Guthrie, good evening to you. Banquet of Consequences in the house. How are you? Louise says after 2 months of surveyor making up stories. Yeah. Yep. Famous Indiana Mike's in the house. How are you, bud? I haven't talked to you in a little while. We need to get together. I miss you. What else we got here? Farm Ranch Homestead, welcome to you. The instigator himself is in the house. Says just an update from last night. Our skeeter bitten person says she woke up and the spot of concern was gone. Super cool. Oh, that's right. The Zoom was last night. I forget all the time. I need to do a better job of that. One step closer. How are you? Nitos, how are you, my friend? Songs of Joy, welcome in. Carrie Davis, hello. Spags Unfiltered. What's up? What's up? What's up? I've got some stuff for you, Spags, if I can get a little bit of time to break away. Dana Green, good evening to you. Lisa, welcome. Says, well, what do you know? YouTube is going to let me join the chat this week. Lisa, see how cool that is? They love you. Yeah. Jean Menke from Paris says, we tag you so funny. Yep, bird's eye view. There's a great homestead. Welcome in. I think I'm going to get to the bottom one of these days. Dana Green, hello. Beth Emily, hello. Can Squatch. What's up, Squatchy? That's not good. Harry Kent Hempworth, very enlightening interview with Lindsey Brandon last night. You know what, Harry? I really enjoyed that interview. We talked a lot about the bridge in that interview. And it's such a big deal to me because the fact of the matter is the world that she comes from, I would have considered her a tree-hugging hippie. And I would have, right? And the world I come from is I'm a militant redneck. And, for us to find so many things in common and so many things that bonds us and so many things that unite us, I'm betting Lindsay and I are going to be friends for a long time. I'm very fond of her. And so for those of you guys who haven't watched it, you should go back and watch it. She is a very interesting lady. And we talk a lot about, building learning centers and academies and what's going on here in Kansas and what she's got going on. So anyway, it's a really cool deal, Harry.
I haven't gotten a chance to watch it.
Yeah. Sounds like Tag's about to join the F Facebook club. I've been waiting for you over here, and we have pie. Yeah. Nito says, I watched the permaculture video. Sounds like you're going to have a wonderful plan for your farm. Well, it's adapting all the time. And so it's going to be interesting to see what it came out. I'm trying really, really hard not to intervene so that I get all of the creative juices, right? And then I'll go through in the end and decide what I want to do, what I don't want to do, but between me and B. But I think it will be super, super cool to watch. Spags, by the way, Lindsay wants to come down. I need her to come back down to do another site visit, and we're going to try to time it up with Midwest if that meets your needs in any way.
Oh, for the next one?
Uh-huh.
For September?
For September, yep. Yep. So, but we need to get on it early, and I need to figure out exactly what's going on. So, Skanes Girl says, "Tag. That's how I describe myself. I'm a conservative tree hugging hippie." Yeah. I'm kind of a militant hippie now. I'm kind of getting out of the redneck and into the militant hippie side, but we'll see. JB, welcome. What's that, babe?
Getting into the militant hippie.
Yeah.
Joe,
how are you? Welcome. You see here, hey, American Roots is in the house. They've been around.
Hey guys.
For a while out here working on their homestead. And I'll tell you something really, really cool. B and her made cinnamon rolls in the barbecue grill, and they were so good.
She and B.
What did I say?
B and her.
Oh, she and B. So.
And me.
Can Squatch says that was a good interview. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Silver Lining says couldn't find you guys tonight. Yeah, I think there's some funny stuff going on because I've noticed a lot more glitches than I ever have, and maybe that's just me. But
yeah.
Instigator says that he's a crunchy conservative. Gypsy says, "Hey everybody, checking in. Hope everyone's doing well. I hope everything's with you good, but I'll see you in the morning." Tomorrow we've got a big auction coming up. One of our farm consignment auctions that I'll be going to, and so I took American Roots and us. We went over there and drove through the auction today, and it was fun to watch the girls taking pictures of everything because then they create lists and wish list, right? Super, super cool. I think I made it. Oh no, I didn't make it to the bottom. I thought so. Make sure I got everybody here. Nostradamus says YouTube is tuning their silencing algorithm. Must be selection season coming up. Yeah, it is coming up. And I think we're going to see more and more of it. Farm Ranch says, "Tag is not just you. I've noticed quite a few glitches too." Yeah, there's lots. Can Squatch says, "Any mowers at the auction?" A whole bunch. I think I counted riding lawn mowers. I think I counted 7, 8, 9. And this is going to be an interesting auction because they didn't post a lot of pictures online. And typically that would tell me there'll be a lower turnout, which typically means, you'll pay less for them. But we're going to see when we get there. Like I said, there's a lot of things on my list. I won't get them all bought, but I'll go in and attempt to buy some of them and hopefully have a productive day for donating, my energy capital to that day to go do that because there's plenty to do here around the farm.
Yes,
right?
There sure is.
There is plenty to do. Okay, I think I'm through all the hellos. All right, cool. So you guys want to talk about what's been going on the farm? Let's start there, huh?
Yeah.
Today, because there's so much, this time of year, as you guys know, wait a second. Hold on. Stop, everybody. We have to welcome the greatest name on the internet.
Half of a fun.
Welcome, buddy. It says evening all, adding 14 inches deep of mulch and fruit trees, 102 degrees today, and not even August yet. Yeah, there's actually record temperatures going on. I've seen some stuff posted today in Arizona, Texas, and California that were record temperatures. Anyway.
102.
Yeah, well, there was Mexico City. It was like 116 or 18 the beginning of May. Like a crazy number.
But 14-inch deep of mulch, congratulations.
That's wonderful. Yeah, congratulations that you have enough mulch to do that with. Because that's a lot. We do that stuff in our, bees gardens like that. It's probably that deep. And
I would love to have another several truckloads of that.
Yeah. Tim Riley, welcome. Anito says they're at 99 today. So anyways, you guys know this time of year, lots of plantings going on. We're in the gardens. We've got lots of construction going on, lots of building going on, kind of all kinds of stuff. So I thought I'd take you guys through just kind of some of the stuff that's going on. And it's fun for me because I really don't do much of the planting, right? Would you agree?
Correct.
Yeah. B does most of the planting. What I do is I build the trellises, or I move the dirt, or I move the mulch, or kind of whatever it is. Sometimes I go up there and measure it out for you. Yeah. Those kinds of things.
Or if I need help moving something.
Yeah. B for the last few years has been, when she lays her fabric down, cuts little holes in them and, plants the plants in order to stop the weeds coming up. But this year I went and got her a little handheld torch. How's that working out?
The second one is a lot nicer.
Yeah, that picture looks strangely familiar, says Farm Ranch Homestead, and that's because it was the picture in the live last week that I had to bail on all you guys for.
Yep.
Because I couldn't make it work. Some of these pictures are from last week, but I didn't want to not show them to you guys because I think they're just, just so cool.
Yep. So I had to put black tape on my my hose there. I got a crack on that hose, so I had to tape it closed.
We need to replace it because that's not going to be a very good fix.
No,
but
it's already kind of failing, but it did get me to water. This is a sunflower patch.
That's a sunflower patch, which is no longer, by the way. So
yeah, we needed a little bit of dirt for the sweet potato patch.
Yeah, those sunflowers were volunteers. And they were growing out of my compost pile. And so I had to push it. I pushed the whole compost pile up and turned it all over and all of that stuff. And so it's not there anymore, but I thought it was beautiful. Hey, one more rock. Welcome in. You see, what's those? What's that, baby?
That's the horseradish.
Yep. So there's Bee's horseradish patch so far this year. And again, I tried to show this last week, but just couldn't do it. I love this patch. I can sit down and just look at it. The leaves are just so beautiful, and there's no holes in them, and there's no, there's not a knock on something.
Yeah.
There's no bug problems in them, and it's just an absolute.
It's very aromatic.
This is a great place to sit and watch. Right next to this is a big hedge tree that creates lots of shade, and so you can sit underneath there, and it's really, really beautiful. What's this, baby?
That's the rhubarb. Some of the rhubarb.
Yep.
Looks like a few leaves have been consumed.
Yep. Yep, so this is one of her rhubarb patches that's going on. What's that?
That looks like the garlic. Yeah.
Yep, that looks like garlic to me. Let's see here. Banquet of Consequences says, with all the rain, I've been inside pulling up old, nasty wall-to-wall carpet. I'm going to just keep the subfloor and stain with black walnut holes. Oh, love that idea. Love that. Munoz is watering just looking at that horseradish. Yeah, it is just wonderful. We need to break it apart and give some of it out because it is it just grows and grows and grows every year.
Yeah. And we have a food forest, so we can plant that in 25 different areas here.
Yeah. Dorothy Holloway, welcome, by the way. All right, what's next? What's that, baby?
Those are the elderberries. Finally.
Well, one of the elderberry sections.
Yeah,
right?
a few of the elderberries. And there's a peach tree there.
Yep. So that big tree, that tree in the background, that's a peach tree. And then there's
like 3 plants of elderberries there. That one didn't get very tall, but it sure does have plenty of flowers on it.
Yeah. And there's some
more.
Yeah, that's in a different location.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm really looking forward to it because I like it. She makes me syrup out of it and I eat it on my pancakes and stuff. And I really enjoy that. And how nice is that to eat something that's so good for you and yet tastes so good at the same time.
Sweeten it with some honey and cook it down.
Yeah, one step closer says you need some elderflower wine. Yeah. Lisa says, bring horseradish to the Midwest Preparedness Project. You could do that.
I probably could, yeah.
But Lisa, I bet you if you're in the area, you could just swing by the farm. And
she's Wichita.
Yeah. And we'd be happy to hook you up some horseradish. Farm Ranch Homestead says, found a bunch more elderberry bushes on my property just before the live stream started. Oh, excellent.
Good job.
Excellent.
That's winning.
Yep. Starla Doak, welcome in. Did you get a hold of Callie, by the way? I know that you were looking for her. All right. Yeah, I like the elderberry. It's really, really cool. Hey, not that kind of Karen. Welcome in. What about this?
Yeah, so some lilies and some catmint and
what's that?
That's clover. That purple is the catnip. Catnip. That's clover. Those are lilies.
Lilies.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I think it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Coming up in the tree.
Yeah. Yeah. As a bit
yarrow
further out.
And
what else you got in there?
Lilies.
Is that
that's comfrey.
Comfrey, yeah. I like this as our farm expands, and these areas where she's planted all of this stuff.
So it's showing up.
It grows and grows and grows, and so now it's like this beautiful thing to look at. You can walk through it, and there's just food and medicine, everywhere we go.
And that white and yellow on the other side, that's all yarrow. Different yarrows.
Yep. Stan says that I have elderberry variety Pocahontas, which I've never even heard of. Have you heard of that?
No.
Yeah. I'd like to get some of that, Stan. Pockety says there's a ditch bank on the way to my property with a lot of elderberry, mullein, and daylilies.
Nice.
I've been nabbing bits of root or propagate out as I can. Yeah, I think that's awesome. We've tried on our farm to harvest from our farm the best we can and move stuff around. And we planted, how many black raspberry plants did you move this year?
Like 300.
Yeah, they came off our property, and she surrounded her big gardens with them. So in a couple years from now, that will just be black raspberry bushes, all the way around.
A couple of those ended up being roses.
Yeah,
rose bushes. Trying to pull them out of the field and putting them in another location. They ended up being a couple other items in there.
Yeah. Well, since she officially announced it, I can now talk about it. So Skane's, Starla asks Skane's girl, she's moving to Kansas, and Skane's girl says, I am. So I have not said anything because I don't know what people want to share, but once they share it publicly, then looks like it's free for me to do so, right? What you got there?
Wow. That is the comfrey.
Yep. There's some of her comfrey plants, and she's planted them. This is, I don't know if you guys do this, but so this is kind of where she pulls from, and it grows every year and all that stuff. She takes them and then moves them and puts them at the base of trees.
I got these from Alan, remember?
Yep. Now these came, but my point that I was making is this is your nursery.
Right.
You're pulling from these areas to take to other places, right?
Yeah, it gets bigger and you divide it and put it in other places. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how you grow into your food forest, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And if you can
take clippings from here and there and take tree starts from wherever you can and fill them in where you want them so that you're not mowing them.
Yeah.
Where in the area.
Well, I think it's really smart the way you do this though, because you get a good big field of it, going. And then as time wears on, now you've got a place to go harvest and to move it in, and to do those things, which I think is absolutely awesome. Look, my screen's rocking from the wind. He's got the windows open in here and it's blowing outside. Tamara said, hey, Tamara, welcome, by the way. Tim Riley, welcome as well. Hey, Hacks from the Homesteaders here. Freest people I know. Yep, Skane's girl says, I am moving to Northeast Kansas.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And the community continues to grow. And we've got some other really interesting news that I'm pretty comfortable sharing because it's been publicly said too. Callie and Jesse Blackwell, you guys know her from the book To the Boy at 7 Billion, are moving to Northeast Kansas. And they've located land and we're trying to secure the contract as we speak, but it won't be long and they'll be up here too. And again, the community continues to grow. Nito says, I finally got raspberry bushes to survive in my food forest. They have really took off this year. So happy. Yeah, we're happy for you. That is such good stuff. I got mine from River Hills Harvesting in Hartsburg, Missouri. Okay, Roger? Look at all those congratulations. Look at all that stuff. Pretty cool. All right, what else we got? So talk about what all this is, B.
Yeah, so a couple of those items I grew. And then a couple of those items, more than a couple of those items, you got from the nursery, right?
You got to close the window. The wind's making it hard to hear.
You scored the...
Okay, Nitos, we're on it.
Scored the plants from the nursery?
Yeah. So we don't want to make this hard for you guys to hear.
It's raining.
Yeah.
I gotta close the downstairs window.
That should take care of that. Is that better, guys? Can you guys hear me better now? I can close this one too. I hope that's all better. Yeah. How about now? Yeah. Can you guys hear me okay? Oh, 5x5. Okay, cool. Excellent. B just went to go close a window. Sorry about that, guys. It's, it's hot and I haven't turned the air conditioners on yet. And so we open the windows and, I don't know if you guys probably can't see it in the background with the big fans going, about it. Yeah. Bird's eye view. I couldn't say this better myself, says it's exciting to see the community growing. It is. And, it's so fascinating for me to watch is, all of my experiences before in a community. I'm talking about prior to this community, I kind of had to drive the bus all the time and I kind of had to be the one to do it. And, we're so fortunate here where we live. There's so many great leaders that it isn't really like that, anymore. And I love just being one of the guys, and just one of the homesteads. And so anyway, it's been super, super exciting. And, bird's eye view, you guys have played a gigantic role in that. And I can't thank you guys enough. Yeah, they say they can all hear us better. American Root says, I love all this yoking up. Oh, it's super critical. And guys, it's someday, it's all we're going to have. This is all tribulation training. And, we need to amass some community so that we can rely on each other, because I think it'd be hard for anybody to argue that we can rely consistently on the systems around us, which we'll talk about today on the live too. Yeah. All right. So anyway, you were saying what's in the trailer here?
Why don't you tell them what you ended up getting?
Okay. So B is being shy tonight, apparently. So I bought lots of stuff this year. Every year I try to go get some new varieties of things to continue to grow the food forest and to continue to grow our ability to, provide for ourselves. So, I bought things this year like currant. So we bought red currant, black currant, and white currant, which we've never grown currants before. So this will be kind of new to us. As far as putting it in, I bought lots of new herbs. Strawberry mint, orange mint. Thank you, American Roots. American Roots spent some time in the gardens here. Oops, there we go. Oh, put it back up there. Lots of mint. Bought a couple fig trees, right?
Yep. Apple mint.
Yeah. What other berries did I get?
Goji berries,
Yeah,
grapes,
goji berries,
hops,
grapes, hops,
gooseberries,
blueberries. Yep. So I went, and I get through this about once every year. I take my truck down to the local nurseries, and I went to 3 in one day. And I go around
the clearance racks,
and I not all the clearance rack, but I try to get the best deals that I can. But I load my whole truck bed up with all brand new plants. And then I bring them home, and B works on filling them into all the swells and filling them into everything as we continue to try to grow our plant, what I call our plant library. Right. And then from there, B will take clippings and do that and begin to expand them, like we've done with the comfrey and like we've done with so many of the other things.
Break them up as they get bigger, the flowers and the herbs, and put them in multiple locations.
Yeah, I have wild blackberries and raspberries all over my acreage a year after brush hogging, now starting permaculture design in the first steps. Yeah, good for you. Good for you. And if I can squash, I love to barter and trade plants as B does. If there's a species of something that, this is true for anybody, I would love to, trade around and again, continue to grow that plant library, which I think is just so important. Yeah. Hey, Redneck, welcome. How are you, my friend? And again, another great, conversation we could have right there in reference to community, right? So look at that. How pretty is that?
Grapes.
Those are grapes. Yep. That are growing out here in the flatlands of Kansas, right? It's funny. Everybody I talk to says, Kansas was never on my radar. There's nothing out there.
Yeah.
That's not quite true, right? So B's you have 1, 2, 3 varieties of grape?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. And so this is just one of them, but I thought it was just such a pretty picture. I thought I could share it with you guys. I love this picture. So I put them in there, the 2 of them in there. The first picture. So the baby cow, Camus, is really starting to enjoy the big cows' food.
Yeah.
And so he spends a lot of time right there. He's eating with his mom.
He's not eating a lot.
But he's eating.
Yeah, he's licking it. He's tasting it.
Yeah. What I found interesting is yesterday with Cowboy. When did we?
Yeah.
With yesterday. So Cowboy, which is the brown cow you could see on
red.
the right, kind of red. Yeah. He's actually an Angus, when all the rest of our cows are Dexters, and he is our food supply for 2025. And totally different, but he lets the little, Camus, the baby cow eat out of his bowl, which is pretty rare, I would think,
He is a food hog.
He is a food hog. Yep. Hey, everybody, all American preppers in the house. How are you, my friend? Hey, let's do a video sometime soon. It's been a while. We need to do that. Yeah, Vicky Pullen's in the house. Said, good evening, all. Just got here in time to hear. Yeah, we were just kind of covering over, all the plants we're growing and all the stuff that's going on. And if you guys don't know, Vicky Pullen grows lots of good stuff. They have a, little roadside stand and, grow trees and all kinds of stuff for all you guys down there in Texas. Let me see here. Lisa just got a Biden commercial. Yeah, let me see here. I bought a few herbs this year, and I'm learning how to save them and make tinctures. Yep, super good. Yeah, All American Prepper, let's do that. We'll get another video going together. I've got Danny and Wanda want us to come on the show again, so we're going to do that pretty quick as well. So the picture on the right, this is the beautiful Jess with American Roots Farm, and she was Bee's garden buddy today and yesterday, right?
Today.
Was it today?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you can look in the back of the trailer, like in that box, those are goji berries. I can see them from here. What else in the background?
Fennel.
What
And then some herbs right there.
There's some lavender in that other one, right? Yeah. Oh, cool. Nito says, I just got a Max movie preview. Interesting. So anyway, this is, again, another great advantage to community is you get to, it's not always 100 homesteads getting together to do something. Right.
Sometimes it's just getting together with one or two and just hanging out
and spending time in the garden or spending time building something. Or, today, as I mentioned, we walked around, the auction today, and I got to spend a bunch of time with, Jess and Joe from American Roots. And, if you guys haven't, make sure, you go over to their channel and subscribe because, they're living it every day and they're earlier in the journey. And so you guys get to really be able to watch, as they tackle it from a blank slate, all the way through the process, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey, one of my very best friends in the whole world, Mo Engineers in the house, said, hey, listening and driving tonight. Mo's going to be at the auction with me tomorrow. So we get to do a little hanging out, which is super, super cool. Tambra wants to know if you've done any milking.
I have not.
No, we kind of got our hands full at the moment, but we'll get there, right? Let's go on.
Yeah, she's just eating her food.
Yep. I thought I would show you guys this too, because, I'm building a lot of fence. We just put another brand new big paddock in for the cows. This is a road I've been working on that's getting me down to the community building, but I wanted to show you guys these gates, and I've got a little adjusting to do. I just got them hung, but the reason why they look like this is because you can open them in a lot of different ways so that I can move my animals from one paddock to the other with just a simple process of opening a gate. Yeah. I don't want to have to herd them anywhere. Or two. So, the gates on one side will swing and go together. The gates on the other side will swing and go together. And then they just have a walking path off to the next paddock. And I'll continue to do this with all the paddocks so that I can work on managing Bethany's energy capital the best that I can, right? Because I don't want it to be hard for her. I want her to literally be able to go out there and say, okay, I want to move them to paddock 3 or paddock 4.
Right.
Which gate am I opening today? So we have a home paddock base, like a base paddock. This is where their barn is. This is where we feed them. This is where, the pond is and all this kind of stuff. But from there, with a series of gates like this, what we can do is just open them up to rotate them through, the additional paddocks. And I just thought I'd share this with you guys because, again, I think it is really important that we focus on how much energy we're spending doing any given task. Right.
All of the tasks.
Right. All of the tasks. And again, I don't want her to have to herd them. I want her to be able to drive over there in her UTV, decide which paddock they're going to spend the day in, and just open the paddock up and go back, to what she's doing. Those gates are 8-foot gates. So those openings are 16 feet, which allows me to drive anything pretty much down that road I want to. I wouldn't be able to get a combine down there, but what's down below where the road isn't complete is the community building. So
there wouldn't be a need for a combine down there.
The biggest thing you'll drive down there is a concrete truck or a semi truck hauling a trailer, right? Yeah. So this would be, perfectly fine. See, All American Prepper said, I do a free trial on the pay-per-view, and before they want me to pay, I cancel. Yeah, Nito said that's a good idea. Gizmo says I'm frozen. Either that or he likes the movie Frozen. I don't know which one. Is anybody else having any problems? Oh my goodness. Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Very, very good. So anyway, I'll keep you guys posted on the building
road looks good.
Yeah. This is just the first layer of the road. So this is the bigger rock that we'll put down. I have not put the smaller rock on. So there's a whole nother layer of rock that's going to go on the top of this. And it's super good. By the way, American Roots is learning to put rock in and learning to build roads, and they're doing a fantastic job. Oh, look at that. Skanes Girl says no, but Gizmo's comment disappeared again. Wow. Hello, Hilltop Homestead, checking in.
Hello.
The other thing I want you guys to notice up here is, if you can see, I use T-posts and steel posts, and I like the steel posts because they don't rot. I usually pick them up at auction. In fact, tomorrow at the auction, there's a stack of about 20 of them. And so typically, like if you look at those long stretches up there, there's a post and then about 9 T-posts and then another post. And I put them in the ground 3 feet. Then I put, it depends on whether I'm using 60 bags or 80 pound bags of concrete, but then I fill the hole with concrete. And that's what kind of keeps that fence, good and tight. To the right, you can see up behind in the back of the picture, that's Bee's food forest that she's been growing forever. Just growing and growing.
Area,
It's all the fruit and all the vines and all the stuff.
And then hay bales up there.
Oh yeah, and you can see the hay bales at the top of the hill. Yeah, cool, right? I think. Yeah, and beyond that, so what else? Let's talk about your garden. Talk about where you're at and what you're working on.
I got the tomatoes planted finally. They were sitting in the greenhouse. I started them quite a long time ago, so they were beyond needing to go into the greenhouse or into the yard. Got them planted. I don't know how many there were. I had an entire flat of Amish paste, and of course when I put the seeds in and I water them, some of them kind of scatter, so some cells had more than one plant in them. And then I had another tray of a mixture of different tomatoes, so I got 2 rows of tomatoes in, and the peppers were in. So the bell peppers and the jalapenos are all planted. Got the corn planted. Got the bloody butcher corn finally planted. You remember who we got that from? Was that Pack Rat? Or
oh yeah.
Then we got I kind of got a guess or a somewhat of a plan of where I'm planting other things. The currants, where I'm putting those. We ended up with six plants.
You got 2 black currant, 2 red currant, 2 white currant.
Yeah,
I know, because
so
I bought
6 plants, and I'm putting the mint and the chamomile and the oregano with those, and then the goji berries I'm putting the cantaloupe and the fennel with, the grapes I'm putting the basil with, the hops I'm putting the chives with, the watermelon I'm putting over by the lavender and the dill and sage. What else? I still have to get the beans in.
Oh, you got a whole bunch of stuff. And the sweet potatoes.
And the sweet potatoes. I got a new sweet potato.
Did you get the cucumbers planted?
Mound. Yes,
okay.
I got all the cucumbers planted.
Okay.
And then the sweet potatoes, I have 3 different varieties. So that'll be a nice surprise. Do you know how long that row is?
75 feet probably. Bee needed a place to put sweet potatoes, so instead of giving her one of my dirt piles like she likes to do,
that's what I was going to do.
And I don't like that because then it makes where I can't use that pile if I need a dirt. So I went and built her a whole swell for sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
And it's probably 75 feet long, 5 feet wide.
And you're going to move it after I.
And then when you're done, I'll push all that dirt back up into a pile and we'll use it again, somewhere.
Or something else.
Hey, Bird's Eye Homestead said we finished building our circle drive with a big rock today. Yeah, big congratulations. It's really neat this time of year. There's so many homesteads around us, and all of them have projects going on. All of them have stuff, and it causes us not to see each other as much as probably we should. But the good news is people are getting a lot done.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of, like they were mentioning, roads. I know American Roots is building roads, and Bird's Eye is building roads, and I know there's a deck being built at another one, and there's clearing going on at another one, and a building getting ready to go in. Just all kinds of stuff. Which is super, super nice. Let me see what I missed here. Hey, missed it. Hey, Miss Ghetto. Welcome. How are you? Love Runs Rampant says, yay. I think I caught the live. So busy recently. It's the time of year. It's hard to find free time, to be able to do these kinds of things. It's funny. We have a chat inside our community that we do on a particular night of the week. They move the time based upon the sun. So if it's still sunny out, they push it later because we're all working, we're all trying to get, just trying to get things done. Yeah. Everything is great with us, Mosquito. Let me see here. I missed saying hi to everyone. Howdy, good to see everyone tonight. Let me see, 2 3-gallon bucks off black cherries today and canning jam now after making 2 pies. Oh, and I love cherries. We have a greenhouse, and for any of you guys around us, just so you know, there's a greenhouse in Topeka called Skinner's, and they're a good greenhouse. They have lots and lots of stuff, but they're putting up a whole bunch of new buildings, so they're trying to clearance everything off. And so they've got so many, different elderberry species and grape species and currants and, all of this other stuff that we like to plant. I bought a whole truckload at 75% off.
Nice.
Hey, Andrew Forrester, how are you? Welcome, and thank you for that. Welcome. So I try to buy clearance. So anyway, you guys around here, I would encourage you to go down to Skinner's and load up, because again, they're super cheap compared to what they normally are. And they don't typically sell the little plant. Usually you're getting a bush. It's already grown, which I like like a whole lot.
Did you get the blueberries from them?
I did.
Some of those were 3 feet tall.
Yeah, I did. Yep, I did. I went to 3 greenhouses that day to get them all. I didn't mean to cut you off, baby.
That's okay.
Did you okay? Where you wanted to be?
Yep.
All right. Excellent. Oh, super cool. All right. Well, should we get talking about some other things that are going on? So as you guys know, I've been working hard on the community building, and I've been spending a lot of time trying to get it done. The pad that the building will sit on is complete. So I could build the building, except I don't have the retaining wall. And I'm going to show you guys pictures of it tonight on kind of where it's at. But I got to get that building up, because I'm hoping that come the fall, we were talking about Lindsay Brandon coming down. I'd love to get her in there to talk, to do a permaculture class or 3, to get people in here to be able to actually start using it. I want to do the Freeman Festivus this year in the community building, if I can pull it off.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of racing. You might say, oh man, it's June. You got plenty of time, but
it goes by fast.
Yep. Time gets away from us. So a couple things I wanted to point out to you guys. As you guys see these gray pipes, and you're going to see I have a couple of them in here. Here's another one. So when you're building, I would always encourage you guys. Yeah, Andrew says, how do I get my message to tag? Hey, can one of the moderators put my email address in the chat, please? That would be great. That's the best way to get a hold of me, Andrew. So anyway, I always pop out electrical conduits. And so in this building, there's one pointing in every direction, and I don't need it. There's nothing running in it. But what I do is I run it in the footing and up through the pad, so that when I build the building, if I ever need to take power out of this building in any direction, let's say I want to use the solar system on the community building to power an Airbnb, or to power something else, a pump or a water feature, or whatever it is we're building, because the community building will have its own big solar system on it, which, by the way, I ordered. So I have a grid down solar system coming for the community building. But anyway, so I always, kind of move these in a way that if I ever need to get back into them. So as you can see it coming out of the footing, and it's turning and it's going out one way and the other one's going straight, because I want to make sure I'm hitting both directions. So no matter where I'm building at, I have a way to get power in and out of that building. You won't see them because they'll be covered up, right? They'll be all covered in dirt. I may never use them.
So what do you just cap it off if you aren't going to use it?
Yeah, they're capped off now. So like if you look at the back of that last picture, see there's a cap on it. So if I ever need to run power, I just got to dig down there, pull that cap off, string my line, run it to where I'm going, and now I've got power. So instead of having to put another solar system on a little cabin right there, let's say this is a gigantic solar system, I can just run a power line, run it to a breaker box.
What are you going to run it? How are you going to run it? If it's already, you're going to shove a cord up in there?
Yeah, I'm going to shove a line down there and then bury a conduit the rest of the way.
Downward.
Yeah. And I'll run a conduit into, let's say, a cabin, and then bring it up into a breaker box. And now it's got fans and lights and refrigerators, and it's got everything.
Or whatever, right.
Yeah. And to me, this is just working smart. To do this right now in this stage of the building process is a $20 ordeal. Right. To do it later, once everything's in, it's a whole lot more complicated, kind of process.
Well, you just don't do it later, right? Like it's just not an option.
No, you can, but it's not a fun option, Hey, Mosquito, thank you for that. Yeah, I don't know. I might not have any moderators in here tonight. Here, Andrew, I'm going to type in my email address for you. All right, bud? Here we go. There you go. There's my email address right there. So guys, this is the retaining wall. And I have to pour this. Again, we're getting closer. You can see we're building. We're working on the supports, trying to get it in there and so that we can pour it. And I thought I'd share a couple pictures with you guys. So this is it from the backside. And as you can see, the hill kind of runs down into the back of that building. And I don't want the water being able to rush in there. So I'll actually build, kind of like what they call a cricket on a roof. To build that dirt up a little bit. So I wanted that retaining wall to be higher than where the hill is, but I got to be able to push the dirt away. And so I'll fill this with concrete, kind of when we're ready. Let me see here. Gizmo says, Tag, do you run a pull string in the pipe when you set it? No, I don't. All it is it's just stubbed up into the wall and then stubbed out. And when I actually build the wall, I'll take that conduit and I'll run it all the way up into the ceiling so then I can run a fish line down through it. So no, I didn't put a string in there, but that would not be a horrible idea. Hubby says, hope it sure doesn't take as long for your solar as it's taken for us. Yeah, I hope not to. I hope not to. You can do that for future water lines also. You can. You 100% can. And we've stubbed. I wonder, let me go back in a picture. I wonder if I can show you guys. No, it's not. I might, one of these pictures might have it, but I stubbed water lines out and I stubbed an extra one out, a big one that I could run to my pond so that if I ever wanted to pump water out of the pond into the community building, I could. And again, doing it now while construction's going on, it's cheap.
You stubbed them out
I
into
did.
the front.
I did.
For the outdoor kitchen.
Yes. So I've got hot water and cold water outside and I have drainage out there that I can tie into. And then I ran a 1-inch PEX line from just around the foundation so that if I ever wanted, it's buried in the dirt, but if I ever wanted to tie to a line to the pond, I could.
Yeah.
So that I have that, kind of have that access point. Where was I at here? Yeah. So this will be our almost next pour. I've got these two little sites, that little triangle down there that's got dirt in it. That one's actually already filled. I have a picture of it in here, but I'm doing these little sidewalks on the side so that I can extend that retaining wall around the side to kind of keep the dirt back. So that's what it looks like down the center of the pour. So these footings out here, there's one on each side, and then I'll put a sidewalk on top of them. The reason there's a footing for just a sidewalk is because it's going to hold a retaining wall. So that retaining wall is going to kind of go around that corner. Oh yeah, there's a picture. Okay. So you guys see that footing out in front. You can see that black line sitting straight up. So that's water lines out there. So this is outside. This is where the dirt is. This will be a covered porch with picnic tables and all those kind of things. I will concrete it at some point, but I'm not quite ready to do it yet. But just to show you, we stubbed it out. Here's one of the sidewalks that we have, like I already poured this one, and that retaining wall in the back will kind of turn around the corner and come down that sidewalk a ways again as an effort to keep that dirt back and to not have, water problems.
And what's the width of that
5 feet
sidewalk?
That's a 5-foot sidewalk.
By what? 30 feet?
By 30 feet. Well, yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. And so what I'm working on now, the next pour will be on top of this one. So this one's been poured. All the boards have been removed.
And that'll be the same.
It's been completely backfilled. But yeah, this side will look exactly the same as this one, just on the other side. So I have that one to pour, and it's ready to pour right now. That will be my next pour.
So then you're going to bring that back to that other picture. You're going to bring that retaining wall around the corner to where the dog is sitting.
Yes.
Like all the way around.
Yes, but
that dirt is taller on the
So when
driveway.
So when I turn that corner of that retaining wall, I'll begin to lose height. Mm-hmm. So I'll begin to slope it down slowly, and it'll end right about where that dog is.
Yeah.
Right. And it'll go from 4 feet in the back to nothing, or maybe 6 inches.
Yeah.
Right about where that dog.
So that water doesn't rush or come around the corner. I don't know if it would, but.
That's so funny. Says, oh my goodness, we are modless. We'll start running with scissors. Yes, we will. I need to get in and sign some more mods. The problem is because I use StreamYard, I can't do it from here. I have to actually get into YouTube. And in order to get into YouTube, you guys have to be online. But if I have you guys online and I go into YouTube, it's just a whole big old mess. But yeah, so you guys don't run with scissors, please. Let me see here. What else we got here? Fence posts, as you guys mentioned, we've been doing a lot of fencing. I kind of showed you that a little bit earlier. I only included this picture to show you guys how I set a post. Right, I get the hole run. I put the pole in there. I use these angles with a little stake at the bottom and a C-clamp at the top. I move it to level, I clamp it down, I pour the concrete in it, and there we go. Walk away, and that's pretty much it. And it's funny, I'm limited to 10 steel posts at a time because that's how many, I only have 20 C-clamps.
But you had 22. I thought you could do 11.
I can do 11, but one of the C-clamps, the flatness is broken off the clamp. So it's really hard to get it on. So really I can do about 10. But
yeah, so you need more clamps.
Yeah, I need more clamps.
Although that's a lot of concrete to try to go
right.
to Tractor Supply and get bags and bring it back. That's already 2 loads, right?
Yeah.
Because
so I don't really need to be able to set anymore. And when again, I've already got 20 big C-clamps. Do I really need any more? I'm talking about after the fences are built. So
I don't know. We have used the heck out of those building, trying to get a wall shifted or trying to get something moved. Just C-clamp it.
All America Prepper says, I was running a hog sphere trying to spare a hog and tripped and almost stabbed myself in the throat, and definitely wouldn't have been the end of me because the hog sphere blade is serious business. Ugh. Ouch. I'm going to sneeze.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Glad that you're okay. That would be awful.
Yep, no doubt. All right, you want anything else on your list you want to talk about? And then I'll keep it trucking.
Well, we have rain coming tonight. That's some pretty good news because I've got a bunch of stuff planted. So that's one less thing that I have to water because I really don't water much throughout the year. I just, right when they are getting started, I water a couple of times just because, I've disturbed their roots. So we got a little bit of rain coming tonight, which is nice. I'll be back in the garden soon. You poured a little bit of more concrete on Monday. Was one of my things that I was going to talk about.
Yep. And I'm hoping to pour again
Monday.
Can't do it Saturday, can't do it Sunday. Monday, I'm going to go help the neighbor pour a pad on Monday.
On Monday. Okay.
So maybe I could get one in Monday morning. No, I can't because I got meetings Monday morning. Wednesday. So my next concrete pour will be on Wednesday.
How big is the pad you're doing on Monday?
So I'm going to do, you're talking about the neighbor's one?
Yeah.
So so it's 24 feet long and I'm doing 2 of them 10 feet wide by 24 feet long.
10 by 24.
Yeah. And I'm just going to show him how to do it. And then he's got a bunch to do, but what he asked is, could I come show him once and then he could take over and learn and do it for himself. So I'm just going to go help him do, a couple concrete pad pours because he's just never done it. And then I'll be gone and off. But Wednesday, I'm going to pour the opposite side of the building's sidewalk for that retaining wall.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to pour the footing for pod 4 so that I can make up 5 yards.
I was going to ask what you were going to do with the other because there was.
Yeah.
That's obviously not 5 yards over there.
No, it's 2.5, 2.5. Yeah. So where we live, you got to order 5 yards on a truck. You can't.
You can't just get 2 yards.
You just can't get 2 yards. So you want to make sure you always, I don't want to just pour that in the dirt, right?
No.
Yeah. Love Runs Rampant says tornadoes in Maryland. Not me though. Sister-in-law lost power, but no damage. Yeah, how crazy is that? It really looks like Tornado Alley has just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and wider and wider and wider. Yeah, crazy. I purchased the cistern for the community building. So the community building's primary water source will be rainwater collection. And that's what it looks like right there. That's a 1,500 gallon cistern. The thing to notice about it is it's variable, right? That's why you see the ridges in it. The other thing is that notice that it's white. White in this world means that it's for potable water. If it was yellow, it would be a septic tank, right? It'd be for sewer. And so they color code them. But anyway, so this will be the primary water source for the community building. And just so you guys know, let me show you where it's going to go here real quick. I had a picture in here somewhere right there. So I'm going to bury it back behind this building.
Behind the wall.
Yeah, about where that black piece of plastic is hanging right there. I'm going to put it down in the ground right there and I'm going to bury it. The reason why is 2 things. This is the south side. So on the south side, I'm going to avoid the north winds.
Is that going to be 3 feet down?
Which will be a big deal. It'll be completely covered in dirt. At the bottom will be 5.5 feet down. And then I'll bring the dirt up around it and we'll give it access. But that's where I will put it is back there so that I can keep it from freezing. And then also my roof is the majority south facing, and it's south facing, so I can put solar on it. So I should be able to collect a lot of rainwater. It's a 30 by 62 foot building with the entire roof facing to the south. So you will be collecting big water.
So you're going to be able to stand on top of that tank?
Yeah.
Because if you're putting the solar on top of the roof, then we're going to need to get on top of the roof in order to sweep the snow off.
When you walk up to the back of the building, babe, it will be a because that's 4 feet, about 1 feet. You'll have about 5 feet to the roof.
Okay.
To hop up on and then be able to climb up.
Well, you don't want to walk on the cistern though, right? Or just not the lid.
Just not the lid. The rest of it will be all right. Nito's got a Shields ad. Lisa got a Beretta shotgun commercial. Well, that's cool. Better than Joe begging for money. Yep, no doubt. Did you guys see that clip of him? They're saying he was pooping himself. Oh my goodness.
What?
Oh yeah, you should have seen it. It was ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. Anyway, let me get back to where I was. Skipping all around.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I wanted to share this picture with you guys real quick. So we went to the auction today to walk around, and that's MC Sausage from American Roots. And I have no idea what that little scooter is.
Yeah. It's like a ground pounder or something.
No, I think it's a 3-wheeled cart. But what I love is the handlebars. It's like he's, I don't know, riding a big Harley or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Gorilla bars.
Yeah, like the big, I don't know. I don't know if you guys like that, but I think that's absolutely hilarious. As you guys can see behind him, the blue thing and the brown thing, those are feeders. Yeah. The red thing on the side, that's a big fuel tank. Yeah, that's right. Gangster. One step closer. That's exactly right. Look at that. MC Sausage, the gangster on his hog.
He could probably paint that pink and put a little curly tail on it.
He could. Yep. Ape hanger bars. Look at that. Yep. Yeah, I think this is like a calendar picture. We've been talking about doing a, ladies of community calendar with, all the stink eyes. Like every month would have one of the ladies, giving us the stink eye. And I think it would be funny. But the men of the community, this would be an appropriate, picture for June.
Yes.
I don't know. I think it's funny. Yeah, he was having fun. I love his grin too. Such a good guy. So mellow. So easy to deal with. But all right, what else you got on your list, Pumpkin?
You got some cinnamon rolls.
Oh, and they were so good. And I don't know if you guys ever made cinnamon rolls on a grill.
Yeah.
I know you have.
Oh.
But I mean, they were good
because it has a little dial on it, so I just use it like an oven.
Yeah.
I mean, a little thermometer on the grill, so I just turn up the burners until I get to 350, and then I turn them to low and then let it cool.
Yep.
My thing is that I have to keep rotating it on there because it's at an actual fire underneath it. There's no other elevation to it, so I could burn them easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, we
And what kind of cinnamon rolls you make? You made several different types, right?
Yes. So they were Jess's recipe, and she made caramel pecan, and then walnut and raisin, cinnamon, sugar, butter.
Yeah, I haven't tried the caramel pecan yet. I've eaten the walnut
You
raisin.
better get on it, buddy.
I know.
Because they are going fast.
Yeah. Are they?
Yes. Those ones are going fast.
Yeah.
She also made some cream cheese frosting. It was frost your own bun, because some people don't like frosting, and then some people could just eat a spoonful of frosting. It's kind of like a little sweet treat.
Yeah, look at this. Hey, Joe, MC Sausage, a Mall American Prepper says that's awesome. I would let him join my motorcycle club.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he would be a great member of that. I don't know if he thinks it's as funny as we do, but.
Yep. So got some cinnamon rolls done. You've been eating them and drinking your milk, right? Drinking your milk down.
Yep.
And that's about it.
Yep, that's about it.
Yep.
Lots going on, lots of animals. You've got baby turkeys. You've got teenage turkeys and adult turkeys.
Leaving them open at night.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Talk about that.
The chickens and the guineas, and because now with it being dark until almost 9:30 at night, I do chores, and then I have to go back and do chores several different times because they weren't all coming home at the same time. So instead, I've just done the chores at normal time at about 6, and then everything that is left out the doors stay open. So the guineas there was one that was not coming home, but now she's coming home. There's a turkey that was missing for almost a week, and she's now back home tonight, which probably means that her clutch is not going to pan out. So the guineas, the turkeys, and then the baby chickens yesterday, I left them out too, but because we have this rain, we had quite a bit of red. And if it was just the chickens, I would have left them out. But because I have 4 turkeys in there as well, turkeys are so much more susceptible to
death.
Yes.
Hey, Southern Comfort Homestead, welcome from North Carolina. Good.
I actually had Jess, I was like, well, go ahead and crawl in there and push them into the coop. So I had her do that for me, and we put them away.
So you've got how many teenage turkeys growing?
8.
And how many baby turkeys? 4.
Oh no, I have 9 teenage turkeys and then 4 babies.
And then how many you got in the incubator?
Several.
What's several mean?
I have at least 3 batches of 9 plus some stragglers.
Yeah. So you've got 30 of them in there.
About.
Yeah. Mrs. Hack said I only had 2 turkey chicks make it this year. Well, we've got a bunch for you, Hacks. If you want some more, I've got a whole bunch we could send that way. Babe, it's like, here's the thing though. I think it's just the way this life works. I mean, some years I have a peach tree that produces like mad.
I know, but her turkeys were the same turkeys. They came from the same.
I know, but there's environmental changes. There's, all kinds of stuff. But
because she had 2 girls.
Starla Doak says, got to run. My strength's run out. I have to go lay back. Sorry, I'll see you all next week. Yep. Starla, you keep your head up.
Yep.
And everybody, you keep your prayers coming for Starla. She's fighting hard right now. And, the community needs to be there for her. So
speedy recovery.
Please send your prayers that way. And hey, as far as Mrs. Hacks, again, you want some turkeys, just let me know. We'll hook you up because we've had an overabundance right now. Karen says, I'm here, delivered asparagus, strawberries, and tomato pepper starts to the siblings. Minnesota is here. Yeah, super cool. Welcome. Glad you made it. And I'm glad you're out there delivering those kind of things. Community matters, right? Yep. Southern Comfort says, good to be here. Just got in from shutting things up for the night. Yeah. Yeah, we're about to, once we get done with the live, it'll be the end of us for for our day today.
Yeah.
Which is super, super good. And I've got a bunch of slides. I don't know what slide I'm on here. I'm on slide 27, and I think I've got 50 or better of just the stuff going on.
You got lots to say,
there's
buddy.
so much going on in the world. And I just, how I do. I just pull articles, and just give us, interesting things to talk about. And there's things that don't make sense, and the world's really weird.
Yeah. And it is nice to have like-minded people to be able to talk to that.
Yep.
Talk about that stuff.
Yeah. My interview, my collaboration video with Homesteading Family got postponed from June the 5th to July the 3rd. Is that right?
Oh, wow. A whole month. I didn't know that.
Yeah, something like that. So we'll be doing that one too. So, and then Danny and Wanda, and then Graham Townsend from the permaculturist that came down to do the site visit. I'll have him also on here, hopefully pretty quick.
Okay.
And he's super, super fascinating guy. So it'll be kind of fun to watch. What time's the rain going to hit us tonight?
It looks like at 10:45.
Yeah, show them the picture. Can you?
I don't know.
Let's see if you guys can see this. This is what's coming for us tonight. If you guys can see the blue dot on her phone, we're the blue dot. So ought to be pretty cool.
Ought to be.
You want to get into some headlines?
Sure.
Guess we're an hour in the time, huh?
Yeah.
So you guys know some of this is from last week, but I thought it was relevant to talk about, and I'm sure everybody on here now knows that Trump was convicted of all.
I heard that.
Of all of them. But what I found hey, Midwest Ribeye, how are you? Welcome. I thought I would point out a couple things that I find interesting. And you guys know I am not a Trump fan. I think that it's amazing that the best our country has to offer is, Trump and Biden. I mean, how ridiculous is that? Hey, conservative friends, how are you? Yeah, everybody's getting in from the garden. Gotta love that. But anyway, what I found interesting is the checks he's been picking up since then. He got found guilty on 34 counts, becomes a felon, and then goes on over the next 72 hours to raise more money than Hillary Clinton raised in her entire campaign.
In the next 24 hours?
In the next 72 hours.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, which I think is absolutely crazy. I also think it's interesting how the U.S. Secret Service reportedly met with the New York jail officials to discuss the preparations for the former president being taken into custody if found guilty. Democrat and U.S. Senator Joe Manchin has left his party and resigned due to some of these things. And I also find it fascinating that Donald Trump says he will declassify files on 9/11, JFK, and Jeffrey Epstein if elected president, which will cause a whole other shitstorm.
That's just.
Yeah. Hey, Jane Bandon. Good evening. Welcome, by the way.
He was going to clean swamp too.
Yeah. Well, he said he was going to do it last year.
Yeah.
Guys, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in this. Two real big points. Today broke news that one of the jurors' associates, like his cousin, posted on Facebook prior to Trump's conviction that he was going to be convicted. And so now they have grounds for a mistrial. It's a big old mess. The other thing, though, I really want to stress to you guys to understand that the $35 trillion in debt, the majority of that $34 trillion in debt was spent under two presidents, and that would be Joseph Biden and, Donald Trump. So, yeah, not an love runs rampant. So perfect. Not an election. It's a selection.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, I think the whole trial was grounds for a mistrial. It was. And I would much rather have Trump than I would rather have Biden. But I mean, I think this country needs a great leader. And I don't think, either one of them are that. But if he gets elected, he knows it will be his last term. And I believe he is going to go complete gangster. Well, someone needs to do something, because it's completely out of control, in my opinion, on pretty much every method. I mean, when you sit back and you think, is the education system good? Is the financial system good? The medical system? How about it? The judicial system, is it doing its job? What about the executive branch? Right? Is it doing its job? I mean, there's just no part of it, that's working. See, Micro 2024, Joe Salatin for Secretary of Ag. I wouldn't mind that a bit. Right? He is a different man than he was in 2017 to 2020. He needs to go. OG. Well, someone needs to go, OG. And hey, Rosie, if I didn't welcome you in, hello and welcome. All right, what do we got here? So Donald Trump's felony conviction now means that he's banned from a host of countries, including Canada and the UK. Oh. So how does a sitting president, just out of curiosity, do a president's job if he's banned? And under the laws of those other countries, he would be banned today if they held the laws. Right now, obviously, they're going to make a custom situation and break the laws. But Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Cambodia, Canada, Chile, China, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Egypt, Ethiopia, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Iran, Ireland, Israel, Japan, Kenya, Malaysia, Mexico, Morocco, Nepal, New Zealand, Peru, Philippines, Singapore, South Africa, South Korea, Taiwan, Tanzania, Tunisia, Turkey, Ukraine, United Arab Emirates, and the United Kingdom, he would be banned from. Yeah, Indiana Mike seconds the micro thing. Yeah. In my opinion, I hope I'm wrong. I'm not sure there will be an election. Yeah, I'm not sure either. And I hope you're wrong. If they get the war they want.
That would not be good either.
Yeah, and they're going to get the war they want. Right? Yeah, Southern Comfort says we need solutions. We absolutely need solutions. We need humanity, which has just escaped us. I mean, they've attacked us at every single front. Families are destroyed, right? I mean, the family unit isn't safe. I mean, the banking system isn't safe. None of it is anymore. I agree with you, Southern Comfort, 100%. So I copy and pasted some of the interesting comments that I thought on the Trump election that you guys might find interesting. Tucker Carlson says Trump will win the 24 election if he's not killed first.
Ooh.
Yeah, right? Isn't that crazy? Elon Musk noted that the trivial nature of the charges and how these sorts of manufactured paperwork errors could be used to target anyone. Indeed, great damage was done today to the public's faith in the American legal system. If a former president can be criminally convicted over such a trivial matter motivated by politics rather than justice, then anyone is at risk of a similar fate. Liberal journalist Michael Tracy remarked, "You can certainly argue that the 235-year-old gentleman's agreement that presidents are not convicted of crimes had to go, but to throw it out for such an insulting, ridiculous charge is just a slap in the face to all the reason and good judgment." Tracy also pointed out that, has anyone noticed that the means by which Trump may or may not have transmitted a payment to a porn star has been received vastly more coverage, commentary, and debate than the U.S. clearly lurching towards open approval of direct strikes on the world's largest nuclear superpower? right? I got a few of these that are really interesting, I think. So there was a Russian podcaster that said, it's so funny how Americans talk about other countries being corrupt or backwards or whatever, but then judge with an unknown birth year who is also a political activist who can just sentence a guy who is polling around 50% for becoming president again. Right. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, said Thursday that it was a shameful day in American history. Sergey White said, don't forget that the sitting president and the Department of Justice special counselor say, yeah, he committed crimes, but he's too stupid to charge. The issue is that the GOP is a party of feckless weaklings who refuse to embrace lawfare, even as the smarter, more powerful Democrats pummel them with it. You know, man, British economists said, say you're skeptical of the idea that America is completely unwinding, then why are their leaders doing this? Why would an incredibly unpopular president back a shady court to indict his opponent? At a certain point, you have to see what's going on if you're rational. Let's get to a couple comments here real quick before I move on, because let me see here. Can he pardon himself? I don't know. That's a great question. I think we all know in our gut that for whatever reason, there isn't going to be an election. So sad, huh?
I hope not.
Yeah, Banquet says that's why Gerald Ford pardoned Nixon after Nixon left office. Okay. Yeah, crazy. Absolutely freaking crazy is all I got to say. Following that up, let me see. One core question regarding the U.S. election was, would the dodgy IRA spending prop up GDP growth in the run-up to the election? We now have the answer, no. It's going to run out of juice. And then Kevin Holloway from Los Angeles says he's gotten away with so much that I'm finding it hard to believe. He said, this is wild that justice is actually going to be done. America won't stand for it, says Aaron. You don't know how many Democrats I've talked to that said they're voting for Trump, he said. The only thing Trump is guilty of is making America great again. The real verdict will be in November. I've seen a lot of posts about sentencing him to 4 years in the Oval Office, which is pretty cute. Even if he goes to jail, people might support this guy. He might win from jail. And that's an interesting thing about this. He said, I think that Trump will receive a support from people who have been victimized by the judicial system. I think this is a really important point, because how many African Americans of the inner city have been screaming this for many, many years, right? The injustice, and not just African Americans, but that's what I've heard, the most from it. Did them convicting Trump of these charges actually turn the inner city to Trump's favor because now he's one of them?
How can he win from jail?
Well, it's a matter of what votes come in, babe. Right? 34 felonies are in state court. The governor would be in charge. Got it. Banana Republic and kangaroo court. Could not agree more. See, is there any other good ones in here? I'll read Ashley's and then I'll move on. My first initial thought was joy because it's been going on for so long, just waiting for some sort of justice, she said. But I feel a little amazed when I look it up that he actually can still run for president now that he's been convicted of 34 felonies. Like, you can be denied for a regular Joe jobs, but you can be president with 34 felonies. It's kind of crazy, but I'm hoping we're moving in a good direction.
Yeah, no kidding.
But what's so interesting about that, though, is the divide. And I purposely tried to get comments on both sides, but the divide in our country is just getting worse and worse. And so the question, I think, is that a purposeful part of the plan, is to keep us divided? Because, again, I think to Latron's point, all the Democrats managed to do is turn anybody that's ever had a beef with the justice system into a Trump supporter.
You think they're doing that? You think
I don't know.
They're doing that intentionally?
I don't
know.
Just
playing right along.
I don't know.
That they're so smart they can control us like puppets.
I don't know, but I mean, I think this is just so fascinating. It's going to be super fascinating to watch it plan out. But anyway, in the meantime, the good news that's going on is China sells $48 billion in U.S. Treasuries in the first quarter, which I thought was pretty interesting. Wow. And then in the second quarter, China ramped up its de-dollarization efforts by dumping a record amount, $53.3 billion. So just this year, $200 billion, right, of, U.S. money's been dumped by China. And the Fed now warns against rising delinquency rates, calls it a leading indicator that things are about to get worse. But I'm going to show you guys both sides of this argument because there's also people out there who would argue the other way. YouTubers that go to the very worst of cities find that they support Trump. Well, and I think in One More Rock, I think my point was just that, did the left accidentally create more Trump supporters by this?
I did hear that he got
a lot. Yeah. Depends if the awakening public can outweigh the illegal vote. Yeah, let me see here. Yes, that's the plan. Divide. There's a certain chart some elite group has, and that's on it. Yeah, all of those felonies are fruit of a diseased tree. Well said. The state courts cannot charge or convict on a federal offense. They will get overturned. Yeah, crazy. Just absolutely crazy. Oh, and you guys know I love COVID news. Anybody want to talk about COVID news? I found something super interesting when I was digging, by the way.
Is COVID still out there?
COVID's still out there, but they're losing their steam. They've taken now several of the vaccines off the market. Right. Those are gone. Yep. You got a lot of people like Kumo and a lot of them coming out with COVID damages and, long histories. And so you got a lot of it turning, but there's some real interesting news, I think, that's coming out here. Interesting. Mississippi Homestead Journey says, hey, all been watching as will be cool, but it won't let me post. That seems like a few people have been having those problems. Anyway, so 4 conspirators concealed for years that they created the SARS-CoV-2 chimeric prototype with its designed from Barrick Labs at UNC, and that the lab carried out in the BSL-3 conditions at the Wuhan Institute of Virology before the CEO of Biometric completed his BSL-4 lab for the Chinese, then jumped to lead Moderna. This is important. I want you guys to remember Moderna, okay? The company Moderna, right? Being familiar with the Wuhan lab, keep your eyes out on these 4 targets for starters. The dragnet will broaden as more evidence comes out. Trust the Science, which is pretty interesting, just redacted 11,000 peer reviews that have come in on the COVID vaccine, according to Zero Hedge. And Wyatt goes on to talk about, when you allow yourself to understand that the vaccine wasn't created for COVID, but COVID was created for the vaccine, then everything about this crime against humanity makes sense.
Ouch.
Right? And you guys, I mentioned, right, that let's get some comments in here real quick. Dr. Burks now wants to test all cows and chickens here. We're going to talk about this. They're going to do more than that. Right? They're going to do more than that. They're going to make sure that producers have to get vaccinated against the bird flu. But we're going to get into that. Super important. Yep. Regardless of what is going on in this crazy world of ours, we have to keep pressing towards being as self-sufficient as possible. Couldn't agree more. And this is why we spend almost all of our time outside trying to get a little bit freer. Right? I just can't help but feel like we're being played. Yep. Karen says jobber ads right in the midst of this report. Ha ha. So FDA, in the meantime, approves Moderna's RSV vaccine for seniors, which, if you guys don't know this, is Moderna's second ever product approved, right? But there's some interesting stuff. So I purposely am focusing in on Moderna tonight. Okay, and as you guys know, and we were talking about it earlier, and who brought this up? So Banquet of Consequence was talking about this. So you guys don't even know this or not, but in Mexico, the first ever human death from bird flu. Bird flu, you guys are going to see, is going to become a bigger and bigger issue. Hey, Unique Prepping, welcome. Says, got some of my taters are popping up. Good to see you, bud. So anyway, we got the first death in Mexico from the bird flu, but a couple things in the story I wanted to point out to you guys in case you did not see them. And I think you might find this super, super interesting. So a person in Mexico has died after catching the first known case of H5N2 bird flu, leads the headline. Okay. The fatal case marks the first time someone in Mexico has been sickened by any type of influenza A H5 virus. The World Health Organization reported Wednesday. Now, guys, this was on June the 5th. This broad category of virus also includes the one currently circulating among the U.S. dairy cows called H5N1, which recently sickened 3 people who had close contact with cattle, right? But this is where the story gets interesting. The recent case in Mexico involved a 59-year-old who developed fever, shortness of breath, diarrhea, nausea, and general, I don't know what that word is, babe, malaise in mid-April. The person sought medical treatment in a Mexico City hospital on April 24th, but died the same day due to complications of his condition. The individual had multiple underlying conditions and had already been bedridden for other reasons for 3 weeks prior to developing any bird flu symptoms. This is really important. Okay, so what they said was he was in bed for 3 weeks before.
He was sick.
Sick. Well, they said he was bedridden.
Yeah, he was in bed sick.
For 3 weeks
For 3
before
weeks.
and it says right here, prior to developing any bird flu symptoms. So, according to the WHO.
He got sick while he was in bed.
Right. So, but according to the WHO, the person had no recent contact with poultry or other animals. Typically, people catch bird flu through contact with sick or dead animals or from contact with materials those animals contaminated with the virus. Notably, H5N2 viruses have recently been spreading among poultry in Mexico, raising an opportunity for the virus to spread to people. Authorities in Mexico are still investigating the potential source of the patient's fatal infection. This is important because this is one person away from it exploding.
So you're saying that it was dropped from a helicopter?
No, what I'm saying is that it was probably brought in by a nurse. But what that would implicate is human to human transmission, which has never happened.
On the bird flu.
On the bird flu. If they have human to human transmission, they would be a pandemic, back to lockdowns, back to the whole thing. Yeah, I probably missed a whole bunch of comments, but I believe the more anyone pays attention to the bird flu, the faster it grows. Well, of course, they learned a whole bunch during COVID, and now here we are, right? And now apparently H1N1 has gain of function. Isn't that a coincidence? It is, right? Yeah, love runs rampant. You got it. Underlying conditions, right? How many people? My dad died on his death certificate is COVID, and what they don't tell you is that he had major organ failure and he had a lot of issues going on, but his death certificate says COVID. Yeah. Oh, of course, it's all a coincidence. Of course it is, right? But guys, this is really, really important. When they talk about he was bedridden from 3 weeks, what's the incubation period of a flu? Not 3 weeks.
No.
So one of two things.
14 days, right?
Well, but let's think if the incubation period of the bird flu is 3 weeks long, because according to this, you got 3 weeks. What that means is if it is transmittable between humans, they'll never stop it.
They'll never stop it because you'll
Right.
be in contact with a lot
Yep.
of people before you show symptoms of being sick.
Yep. All the Sambuca must have done the trick. Must have. Hey, look at that. Bobby Steger's in the house. My wonderful, beautiful sister. How are you? The WHO lied. Type 2 diabetes and kidney failure. Ignore it. They will go to something else. They tried the death hornet, and now it's also the deadly poisonous flying spider. Yeah. There's some other stuff going on with rats and some of that stuff too.
Jeez.
Yeah, love runs rampant says usually not more than 14 days. Yeah, and it clearly says in this article that he was bedridden from 3 weeks before showing any symptoms. Yeah, good news for Oklahoma. Our governor just signed a bill telling the WHO to go kick rocks. They have no jurisdiction in our state. James Bell, how are you? Says hello from DeSoto. Well, you're not very far away, neighbor. Good to see you.
Go kick sand.
Yeah. If the science is at all to be believed, sound to me like a ramp up to another round of pandemic bullshit. I agree. Someone told me cancer patients on hospice care, if they developed COVID, they were said to have died from COVID. Yep, that's what happened to my dad. Like I said, he was had a kidney transplant. He had all kinds of problems going on, but it says on his death certificate he died from COVID. The Mexican health secretary denies that he died from the bird flu. Yeah, I actually think it'd be a mistake to call it the bird flu, but this article, and it's if you Google it, they all say he died from the bird flu. So I mean, right? Who knows? Who absolutely knows? Scientists are testing mRNA vaccines to protect cows and people against bird flu. This was really important, right? We were talking about Moderna earlier, and we were talking about the bird flu spreading. And this is what they're talking about. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Moderna is the leading company for the bird flu vaccine. Okay, they're the leading.
So
one.
there's a new vaccine, which means they're going to have to create the pandemic in order to go along with it.
And so when they talk about scientists are testing mRNA vaccines to protect cows and people, there was a lot of suggestions in a lot of that stuff this week that what they will do is they're not going to mandate the vaccine for everybody yet. they'll just mandate all the food producers.
The people who produce
food. So if you have cows, if you have chickens, if you raise any of them, you won't
sell to the public.
You will not be able to sell to the public. You will not be able to have a business.
Wow.
Unless you get vaccinated. And you guys, I know you guys know this because we talk about this all the time. But you guys know how we talk always a lot about follow the money, right? And if you can understand what happens in the money side, it'll tell you a lot. So I pulled Moderna's stock earlier, and I want to show you guys something super, super fascinating. So if you guys look in November, you look at November the 10th of 2023, right? So not very long ago, their stock was trading at $70.05. Okay. So COVID's been dying, right?
Yeah.
And they're taking stuff off the markets and they're doing all of these things. So what in the world would cause a stock from November to June to more than double to 154.69? This stock is up over 100%, more than doubled in value, while the COVID vaccines are getting all the bad news. Yeah, vaccine is in the food on shelves and in grocery stores. They really are pushing it. They are. Anybody have a natural or herbal remedy for severe nausea and vomiting? Peppermint.
Well, why are you nauseous?
Bird, think about it. It would include every hummingbird, robin, blackbird, duck, pigeon, eagle. It's BS wanting to remove the chickens. This is really what I'm getting at right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Barn swallows.
Yep. Absolutely insane. And you can stop all the chicken producers you want, but I think to One More Rock's point is super important.
Yeah.
Bird flu is going to attack the hummingbird, the robin, the blackbird.
We got all kinds of wild turkeys that run around here.
Right. Oh, this is Jeff said, my dad died from the clot shot. Death certificate says pneumonia. Yeah. Crazy. Ginger. What is ginger? Did I miss something?
Ginger. Oh, for nauseousness. Yeah.
Oh, ginger. There you go. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ginger, mint tea also.
Yeah.
Ginger. Look at you guys. You guys are so awesome. So did the senators and congressmen people buy into it yet? Well, I'm seeing more and more calls every day for vaccines. And there's actually news articles now, which I think I have some in the stuff tonight, that talk about they're already producing the vaccine. Moderna conducted no human trials before the FDA approved the vaccine for the bird flu, which the FDA has already approved it, by the way.
They approved it?
They did. Yeah. And this, I'm gonna get into some of that here right here. But so Dr. Peter McCullough, for you guys who don't know him, love the guy. I had a chance to meet him a couple times at some of the places that I spoke. He said, I think the end game for the bad guys is mass vaccination. The FDA cleared a blue flu shot without human trial data. Dr. McCullough said that something equally terrifying. He says that the bird flu response is a giant threat to the food supply industry, which is what we were, talking about. The mass PCR testing procedures produce false positives, leading to the unnecessary killing of healthy animals. The next thing you know, we have a livestock shortage. University of Pennsylvania scientists are working on a new bird flu vaccine amid growing concerns over the virus mutation. Scientists are testing mRNA vaccines to protect the cows and people against bird flu. The third person in the U.S. has tested positive for blue flu, and now the U.S. is making millions of bird flu vaccine doses in the summer of 2024. Yeah, let me see here. Peppermint and chamomile. Yep, our elected officials have abandoned us. Yes, they have. We are in store for another pandemic. I'm afraid you are correct. I wish you were wrong, but I don't think you are.
It's too bad.
The good news is, if they can successfully get all of the meat producers out of the business and all of that stuff, that Amazon founder Jeff Bezos pours $100 million into developing fake meat. Don't that look just so appealing?
It looks like dog food.
Yeah, it does look like dog food. Yep, because meat from condemned dairy cow tested positive for H5N1 flu virus.
Oh.
Right?
Here we go.
Yep. And here's the good news. Once you enjoy your fake meat, you can now buy no cheese, plant-based mac and cheese. That's good, right?
Not cheese. It says it on the box. Look at that.
It says not cheese.
So now the bird flu can transfer to people and to cows.
Yeah, so people, cows, there've been a lot of animals to get it, but we haven't had a human to human transition yet. But that's what I found so interesting about that article. If he really had it for no symptoms for 3 weeks and laid in bed, he got it from somebody. Now you could argue a robin flew in the window and landed on his nose, pooped in his mouth, and that's how he got it. But I think that sounds super, super fishy. Your banquet says no jabs before, no jabs for me in the future. Lots of my own herbal tinctures. Grow your own food. Yeah. Yep. I think we're going to have pandemics every 4 years from here on out. Well, I think it's particularly dangerous right now because of the election. You know, Biden is not very popular and he looks like an idiot. I mean, you know, he looks when they're interviewing him, when he's standing on stage. I don't know if you guys seen the pooping thing from this week. He's at the D-Day Memorial because, you know, the anniversary of D-Day.
Okay.
He was at Omaha Beach at the memorial, and the French president was standing next to him, and he shakes the French president's hand, turns around, looks at his wife, and kind of squats like he's going to go to the bathroom and sits there for a little bit, like super confused. And then his wife ran him off stage. The French president went on to greet all the American veterans, and Biden was nowhere to be seen. I'll show you the video when we get done. Super crazy. Let me see here. I love taking vegan recipes and making them ketovore. Yeah, that is so gross looking. I know, right? It's dummy. They are growing fake meat from cow cells or something. Yeah. Question: if an innocent chicken can be euthanized for catching the bird flu so that society can be protected, what is the punishment for those involved in gain of function research who created it? None, because the laws don't apply to them.
Right.
Right? Yeah, he is an idiot. He is. Yep. Hey, David, how are you? Yeah, I can't believe that. Mac and cheese without cheese.
Mac and no cheese.
Yeah, mac and no cheese. Crazy. Look at that meat. I had to post that picture. With the Dems pulling way behind for the election, the lockdowns are needed to keep the people from congregating. And also helps push mail-in voting, right? Helps push those kind of things. But something interesting, Trump today jumped on the bandwagon for mail-in voting, which he's been very opposed to.
Come on.
No, but he said, hey, let's get on this, Republicans or whatever. We can do this too. We can play the same game, and kind of, jumped on some of that stuff. So,
but it's not going to be counted.
Yeah, but babe, there's nobody that can convince me Biden won more votes than any president in history.
Right.
You just can't convince me of it.
Right.
While we get to go through all of this stuff, just so you guys know, we're running through another big drug shortage, right? So amoxicillin shortages are causing concern for local parents of young children. U.S. drug shortages reach record supply. 323 meds are now in short supply. Drug shortages are at their highest since 2014. Chemo drugs, Wegovy, ADHD medications are all affected.
Yeah.
You like all these news articles I find?
No.
You don't?
No, none of these are good news. I mean, some of these are. If you can't find your prescriptions, maybe you'll go somewhere else and get something different. Adderall.
Right. What else we got going on? Ignore the disinformation. The U.S. is safer with a global pandemic treaty. I don't know if you guys have been following this, but, the world have been trying to reach this global pandemic treaty. And after 2 years of working at it, efforts of the World Health Organization to agree on the global pandemic, the treaty has failed. A lot of countries have backed off. The World Health Organization pandemic treaty has failed as countries couldn't reach the deal. Florida has banned fake lab-grown meat and are rejecting the World Economic Forum agenda. The new right-wing Dutch government, led by Geert Wilders, said they support the farmers and scrap the climate subsidies. Sweden scrapped Agenda 2030 global goals from government directives. Sweden scrapped renewable energy plans and will build a new nuclear power plant. So people are fighting back. And it's so interesting. As soon as those articles hit, the Wall Street Journal comes out and says, ignore the disinformation, right? The U.S. is safer with a global pandemic treaty. Could you guys imagine giving our health sovereignty over to the United Nations? Let me see here. Anyone who has a potty-trained toddler would recognize Biden's antic in the video. Yeah, I'm going to show B it. I should have put it in the thing tonight, but it was, there's nobody that's going to watch that video and go, that guy's in control. And, the the world's safer. We can go to sleep tonight because, he's at the wheel, right? There's just no way. It's not a treaty if not properly ratified by the Senate. Yeah, and it looks like it's completely falling apart, right? Food by thy medicine and shortages won't bother you. That's right. That's absolutely right. What else we got going on? Just in. So $517 billion of unrealized losses have hit the U.S. banking system as FDIC warns. So the FDIC is now saying they may not be able to have enough money to pay everybody for the money they have deposited because of some of these risks. And if you guys remember, I've told you guys this several times in the past, and I'm going to tell you again, I think they're going to make the banking system the bad guy as a way to get CBDC accepted. They're going to say, look at the banks. They didn't take care of you. You lost your money. Here we have a solution. And so I think we're going to see more and more of this banking stuff erupt. I could give you guys lots of advice. I'm not giving you financial advice, blah, 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 but diversify, make sure all your money's not in one bank.
They're going to turn it and take the cash and then give them credits or whatever.
I think, or say, I'm sorry you lost it, but I can prevent it from ever happening again. I don't know.
You're out it. You're out it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know how it will unfold. What I'm becoming more and more convinced of is they're going to make the traditional banking industry the bad guy. And they're going to have to come up with something gigantic to get the American people to buy it. They're not going to be able to do a little thing, right? It's going to have to be something significant in order for them to get. Yeah. So I think they're going to make a run at that. By the way, I don't know if you guys seen this or not last week, but Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway in 1 minute lost 99% of its value. And this is stock, they're A shares, that trades for like $7,000 a share. And it wasn't just them. There was a few other companies that had the same issues, and they called it a technical glitch. So what I'm saying is I'm betting you that these are cyber attacks. These are, the next generation of warfare, which again, we'll talk about some more stuff. Hey, Deep South Homestead, how are you? I'm looking forward to doing our video together. We just need to get a date picked, but welcome. I don't know if it's Danny or Wanda, but whichever one it is, super happy you're here. Yeah, Love Runs Rampant talks about how you create a problem and then they offer a solution. Don't be fooled. Yeah. One other headline I wanted to put in here, just so that I found so super interesting, is Department of Justice charges Texas doctor after he blew the whistle on gender-affirming care for minors. So this, you guys can look this up on the internet. It's Dr. Ethan Haim. He was a guy who worked at a children's hospital in Texas, and they were doing some behind-the-scenes gender affirming care for minors, and he blew the whistle on them. And as soon as he blew the whistle on them, they start filing charges saying that he violated the HIPAA laws. And so they're charging this doctor for violating the HIPAA laws because he shared that the hospitals were doing gender affirming care on minors. Crazy. Yeah, absolutely, so he's crazy.
The one that gets in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Wanda says yes, and we needed to set a date for later this month. Yep, 100%. I can't wait to visit with you guys again. Hey, Bonnie, how are you? Welcome. Absolutely insane. This was an interesting story. Isn't it funny how you got to read between the lines of everything?
You do.
So here's the headline: strong U.S. payrolls and wage growth push back bets for Fed cuts. What that's saying is because U.S. payrolls are strong, wage growth is strong, our economy is doing great, we don't need to lower interest rates. And the reason they're doing this, just so you guys know, is the whole world right now is pushing the feds to lower the interest rates. Because if they lower the interest rates, then those countries can lower the interest rates, right? It's all contingent upon this. And this is their pushback. But I want you to listen real closely into what they actually said. Non-farm payrolls advanced 272,000 last month, as the Bureau of Labor Statistics report showed Friday, beating all projections in a Bloomberg survey of economists. Average hourly earnings climbed 0.4% from April and 4.1% from a year ago, both picking up from the prior report. Sounds great, right? Okay, listen to this. Same article, same news report. However, the unemployment rate, which is derived from a separate survey, increased to 4% from 3.9%, rising to that level for the first time in 2 years. Okay, so let me ask you something. Non-farm payrolls advanced 272,000 new jobs last month, and unemployment went up.
But it didn't.
No, it did. Unemployment increased to 4%.
Right.
So tell me how that makes any sense.
Right. So the jobs were created, but they weren't.
That's what I'm saying. It's just absolutely crazy. Tim says, buy tangible assets. Could not agree more, Tim. Dimensional lumber, nails, screws, and land. Get medical training, ham radio, and farms. Could not agree more.
Yep. Rocks.
Yep. Could not agree more. Hey, Mandy, how are you? Welcome, bud. Let me see here. Our government threw out the HIPAA laws over COVID-19, and now they want to weaponize HIPAA against people. You bet they do. You absolutely bet they do. Bobby Starless talking to Bobby, that's my sister, for those of you guys who don't know, said, or I think it's Jeff who's actually on there, my brother-in-law, but I had to take the vax or I would not have had an oncologist for breast cancer. Beardar now have chronic myeloid leukemia in advanced blast stage and multiple myeloma, I believe I got from the vaccination. There's a lot of reports of skyrocketing cancer problems, heart problems, and things like that, due to it. Anyway, let's talk back to job growth. I just thought this was just super fascinating. This is out of the exact same article. And as you can see, here's your job growth. Right here, you see that blue graph?
Yes.
Right?
It is significantly
you're right.
down.
The latest figures highlight a labor market, that continues to defy expectations and blunt the impact on our economy from high interest rates and prices. That strength risks keeping inflationary pressures stubborn, which will likely reinforce the Fed's cautious stance on monetary policy as officials debate just how restrictive rates are. Guys, again, this is a move to not have to lower interest rates, because if they lower interest rates, right, it will send inflation skyrocketing. And so they're trying to combat it, but the world's putting pressure on them. Another headline, stock set for an all-time high as bond yields fall. So this is an important thing too. I don't know if you guys have read any of these kind of things, but all over the world right now. So like in China, for example, the Chinese president told the banks to stop buying bonds and to start investing in the market, because again, they're getting, all of these pressures on them. The jobs report is composed of two surveys. You remember how I was talking about earlier, how do we get so many new jobs, but yet the unemployment rate will go up?
Yeah.
Okay. So the jobs report is compiled of two surveys. One is one of businesses that generates the payroll and wage data, and another smaller one of households used to produce the unemployment rate. The household survey also publishes its own measures of employment, which dropped by more than 400,000 in May, the largest decline in the year. This metric has increasingly been at odds with the headline payroll figures, sparking debate among economists as to which is the truest signal. So basically what this is saying is the Fed's reported higher growth. The household survey reports we lost 400,000 jobs, which is why the unemployment rate went up while the Feds are reporting, more.
Leela said,
if jobs were created, but unemployment went up, maybe there's a lot more adults in the country, huh? Oh, for the win. Good point.
Good point.
Super good point. Yeah, Gizmo got a crypto ad. Yep. Yeah, really good point. All right. What else we got? This was a great article. I don't know if you guys read Zero Hedge or not, but I read them fairly regularly. They have a lot of really good articles. As I mentioned to you guys before, I think they're going to attack the banks and make the banks the bad guy. I also think they're going to turn on Biden. I do, because in order to try to keep power, I think, because they're going to do anything to keep power, which is why I don't buy Bitcoin, by the way. But anyway, I want to read this to you guys because I think it's absolutely crazy. So the article's titled, "They Can't Afford to Lose Their Grip on the Levels of Power." Everything they've done since 2000 has been in the service of covering up their crimes, and each hoax has just compounded the damage done in our country. The COVID-19 prank was pulled to enable mail-in ballot fraud so as to assure a permanent government by blob, of which the Democratic Party is now a mere tentacle. We don't know yet whether the mRNA vaccine module of the prank was a deliberate effort to kill a lot of people or a grievous blunder by a greedy drug makers and some wicked combo with assistance by the World Economic Forum and China. The bottom line for now is Joe Biden is about to wave bye-bye. They've already put the question to him and he's resisting. The one coherent thought in his failing mind is that he has pardon power as long as he is president. It's not so much Hunter. So this is important what he's saying right here. What he's saying is Biden wants to be president so he can pardon Hunter Biden, right? But anyway, he goes on to say, it's not so much about Hunter that the silly ass gun case in Wilmington, as he will surely wiggle his way out of it. It's more about his brothers Jim and Frank and all the spouses and offspring who received wire transfers of Chinese money, Ukraine money, Russian money, Kazakh money, and Romanian money. If necessary, the power and its blob masters will bite the bullet and run the 25th Amendment on the old fraud. Get her done fast, down and dirty, virtually overnight, any night now. More likely, they'll leak some documents from the blob vaults that controversially incriminates the president on one of the already well-trodden bribery angles. That is, they'll pretend to discover that not only is Joe Biden hopelessly senile, but it turns out he's been crooked all along. What a shock. We never suspected till now such a seemingly well-intentioned, kind, patriotic old man. Stand by. It's going to be a hell of a month. I love this article because I think it really points out, whether it goes exactly like this or not, I think it really points out that in order for them to take us to that new agenda, they have to do big things. Little things are never going to get it accomplished. Yeah. They've got to attack the banks. They're going to attack Biden. And I absolutely see that coming. The feds can't report true numbers with an election upcoming. Of course not. Right? They're going to keep and tell the people has had enough and a civil war is on the horizon. I hope not. Yeah, prayers for Starla. Again, you guys, Starla's fighting. Let's keep her prayers. I saw a comment disappear too. Guys, they've been attacking a lot of people. And maybe, you know, the whole YouTube thing is a short-lived thing and be gone soon. I don't know. Antibiotic readily available in Mexico without prescription, and you can bring them over here. Hey, Kelly. How you doing? Welcome. I love that article, by the way. And just since we're on all of the good news today, Europe just approved the worst communist law ever and how it affects you. I don't know if you guys read this or not, but I think this might be as big a piece of news as anything I'm going to cover tonight or anything that's been going on, to include the Trump convictions. The European Union just passed a directive requiring ESG mandates for European businesses. I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but ESG, of course, stands for the environmental, social, and governance standards, or in the fine print, definite corporate action concerning climate change, social justice, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. So basically, it's applied Marxism without all of the goofy theories. So basically what it's going to do is it now requires European companies, all of their subsidiaries, and anybody that does business with them to follow the ESG mandates. So
they can't do business with a low line scored person.
Correct. So this is going to force companies like Amazon, Facebook.
To turn in your information.
It's going to force them to, or they're not going to be able to do business in Europe. What percentage of Amazon's business do you suppose is in Europe? What percentage of General Motors, of, Ford, think of all the companies out there in Europe. Now, how they enforce that, I don't know. At the end of the day, they need commerce to continue, right? Because we have the system of your infinite growth.
Right.
And so they need it to continue, but I think it's absolutely interesting that they're going to take a swing at this, right? Can we just ignore the government, please? If anyone did, it might go away and we would all have community rule. I wish it was that simple. Right. I absolutely do. I wish. Meat is meat, chicken is chicken, cheese comes from real milk, and fake is fake. Couldn't agree more. I can't believe you can buy macaroni and cheese that no cheese in it.
I can. Most of our food isn't really food anyway.
Yeah.
It's, wood pulp and baby parts.
So now 1 week later, after the news for the ESG, 90% of asset managers now report increase in ESG spending. It says personal investments. GreenX to launch security tokens incubating ESG sustainable products. Trace Grains unveils integrated ESG solutions for food and the beverage industry. IdeaGen AI tool takes the pain out of ESG reporting. And so these are all these companies that are complying in an effort to be able to continue to do business. Isn't that crazy? Then Australia, because they don't want to be outdone, passes a law for the new digital ID. So now all Australians have to have a digital ID to include, this also includes their financial information.
Don't they? I mean, don't we all have digital IDs? We all have cell phones. We all have banking,
we have,
online
sure.
banking. We have links
sure.
all over the place.
Yeah, babe, did you know that's why they did the Fed Now thing?
Yeah.
Is to be able to link all of those together. So when you scan your driver's license. Yep. So we all do have some form of digital ID, but what they're doing is they're just getting it more and more
they're tweaking it.
Condensed.
Right.
So that literally with your digital ID, someone can scan it and it'll tell them your credit report. It'll tell them what you purchased, your health history. It'll all be at one place digitally. And of course, I have to applaud the Australians for leading the way. You know, we were talking earlier about infrastructure attacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you guys heard about the water main that broke in Chicago, but it wasn't just Chicago. There was one in Long Island. There was one in Arlington. There was also one in Boston, where a lot of the infrastructure is just either it's old and it's wearing out or people are attacking it. But the national alert was U.S. water systems attack. And this is why, you guys, you got to find your own systems.
Yeah.
We don't know because we're not getting any of the truth, right? We don't know whether that was a real, just old main break or someone blew it up, right? I mean, we don't know any of these things because we only get one little piece of it, you know, on the internet of what really happened. This, which I stress, find a way to produce your own water, store your own water. If you can't have a well, get rainwater, whatever we have to do. Don't be dependent on this.
Yeah.
Because this is how they'll get you to do whatever they want.
Yeah. If you need the things, if you can't produce it for yourself and you need things, then you have to go to them to ask for them.
Yeah. Farm Ranch Homestead says, I don't link my bank info with my phone.
Yeah.
Which that's a good practice, but that's what the digital ID does. It makes it where nobody can do that. You can't do it any other way. You can't run business anyway.
Probably do it on your computer though, right?
Yeah.
It's still linked to your system of some kind, an operating system and a.
That's right. You see, next they'll be trying to chip us like dogs. Yeah.
Well, they are already.
Funny chat stops at important points. There's all kinds of silliness going on with this stuff. Yeah. Well, there goes the HIPAA law. If they can scan your ID and get your medical history, well, for them, it's okay because they can protect it. You can't do it because you can't be trusted, Kelly. Right. At the end of the day, we cannot be trusted with finance. We can't be trusted with those things. They are the protectors. They can have it. I mean, they have it now. You know what the MIB is, the Medical Information Bureau? You know, life insurance companies, insurance companies, really about of any kind, medical companies can take your information and put it in a database and everything pops right up. It's called the MIB. You know, it's not Men in Black. It's Medical Information Bureau.
Yeah.
Yeah. Conserve, for instance, another chicken farm was burned down 2 weeks ago, 1 million chickens. Yeah. Insane. Oh, I got to get running. Let's talk about some other headlines. Another pandemic. Did you know rat hepatitis has been discovered in humans for the first time? Just in case the bird flu fails. Biden last week decided that he had a ceasefire solution for what's going on with Israel and Gaza. And so he called him and said, this is what you guys have to do. How arrogant. How absolutely arrogant.
Did it work?
Well,
did they do it?
No, because Netanyahu, as NBC News reported, that won't agree to the New Deal unless it polls well for him. Right, of course. Right? France foils plans for a terrorist attack on the Olympic Games. Right?
When is the Olympic Games?
I'm assuming coming up here. I don't follow any of that anymore. You know. By the way, the Slovakia prime minister that they tried to assassinate has been released from the hospital.
Okay.
This one was funny to me. The U.S. allows Ukraine to use its weapons to strike inside Russia. So let me get this right. The narrative they're selling us is that Russia invaded the Ukraine. And you're telling me that the Ukraine has to ask permission to defend itself?
No, it's saying the U.S. is not going to strike against them if they do it, right?
Yeah, the U.S.
We're allowing them. We're not doing anything about it.
Well, we're saying that it's okay.
Yeah, we're saying it's okay.
Why do they have to get permission? If Mexico invaded America, would we have to get permission from the world to attack Mexico?
I don't think they were getting permission.
That's so
I think
stupid.
they were just saying that we're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah, it's just so stupid. I'm looking at a 7.14 acre property on the 16th with 11 springs. Oh, and one artisan. Just a little nervous about the bank loans right now. Yeah, get it while you can. Absolutely get it while you can. And by the way, Ticketmaster had a hack, that information is now for sale on the dark web for $500,000. Just so
Ticketmaster?
Yep. And then finally, I wanted to share something with you guys before we get out of here tonight, because I thought this was just, so appropriate, this message. And I just really liked what they said. I'm going to read it to you, and then we can get on to, getting out of here and, all that good stuff. But this person said, we live in times where we see many humans, but not humanity. We live in times where the rich has more rooms than children, and the poor has more children than rooms. We live in a time where smartphones bring you closer to those who are afar, but distance you from those who are close. We live in times where we open Facebook more than the Holy Book. We live in times where a single mother can look after 10 children, but 10 children can't look after a single mother. We live in times where the rich walk miles to digest food, while the poor walk miles in search of it. We live in times where women are paid to be naked, while others have no clothes to cover their nakedness. We live in times where our contact lists are huge, but our relationships are poor. We live in times where our possessions are more, but our appreciation is less. We live in times where we know how to earn a good living, but somehow forget how to live a good life. We live in times where many know the price of everything, but not the value of anything. Indeed, we live in a strange world. May God help and guide us. God bless you all. What do you think about that?
What a strange world. That's true. A lot of that does make sense. And it's kind of sad.
Yeah. I think as I leave you guys, kind of tonight, to just stress some of these kinds of things, that they talk about, where we live in times where we know how to have a good living, but somehow we forgot how to have a good life. Yeah. And that's because our priorities, are wrong. We live in times where we know the price of everything, right? But not the value of anything. And that's so insane that we live in a time where, and I can do it. I can tell you what the, price of this commodity, is anywhere, but finding the value in things becomes harder and harder because, we can't keep up, with the Joneses, and we can't keep up with those
our own expectations too.
It's craziness. They talk about why we live in a time where women are paid for their nakedness. Today, any social media site you go on, it's about a body count. It's about celebrating how many, partners, any given woman has had, while there's a big discrepancy at the bottom, and, people can't even be closed. They talk about we live at a time where a single mother can have 10 children. And I've experienced some of this. And I'm going to do a video on this at some point when it's all cleared up. But in some of the systems out there with foster children and, some of these kinds of things, and yet kids have given up and they lock their parents away and they're not there to take care of them, right? As it talks about a mother can have 10 children, but 10 children can't look, after a single mother. And I think the opening line, we live in times where we see many humans, but not humanity.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is selfishness. And
so what do we do about it?
We continue with our path, and we show what we can to who we can.
Well, I think you show humanity, right?
And then preach it, right? I mean,
live it.
Well, you have to often you have to tell them in order for them to see it, and then you have to live it in order for them to see it. So sometimes you do have to say it and live it.
Yeah. Guys, there's a lot going on in our world today. And I think the journey of freedom isn't about this, crazy destination or this place we're trying to get to. It's about the journey of living free. Yeah. And I think part of that is, being able to share with people and have that, those bonding moments. I got so blessed this week. I got to spend a whole bunch of time with a whole bunch of homesteaders, and good times and bad, and times where, someone's stressed and times when someone's winning and all of that. And I think we need to slow down and enjoy that stuff a whole lot more, because the end goal that they want you to be, which is, by the way, this is their goal. Work as long as you can work, pay all the taxes you can pay. As soon as you get done paying taxes, get you on Social Security, get you in a nursing home, take all your assets through a Medicare spend down, and you die broke, and they got it all back anyway. Their mission is to pay you $1 and tax you at 59%, only to send you to the gas station where 44% of that is taxes. And in just one transaction, 90% of your money's back to the federal government. There's got to be more to life than that, right? And we have to go build that life. We have to go design that life. And the only way we're going to do that is by yoking up, by building community, And then also by keeping your relationship strong. The most important relationship is my life is my relationship with my wife. And it starts right there. It starts at that clan level and, then begins to grow outward from that. Anything else you want to add to that before I get out of here?
No, I think that was very beautiful.
Oh, are you going to cry?
No.
Oh, okay. Damn it.
I'm going to eat cinnamon rolls.
You're going to eat cinnamon rolls, damn it. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you guys on Friday. I love you all.
Oh, not Friday.
Oh, why not Friday?
Friday, we have a breakfast in the morning, and then we have an evening get-together.
Where?
Friday is the 14th. Today's the 7th, and tomorrow and next Friday.
Apparently, we're not doing a live next Friday. We're doing it Saturday instead?
We could if you want.
We're going to do it next week on Saturday.
Or
we'll do it Saturday.
Friday afternoon.
Let's do it Saturday. I'm not sure why we're doing it, but Saturday. American Roots, by the way, says efficiency is not the same as hard work. And this is so true. And I think it's a perfect way to end all of this. Tagging me, Bubba and I are on 50-20 miles from Tecumseh. I'm giving you all a drive-by wave. Yep. Hey, you are so close to us, Kelly. Find the time to text me or email me, and I'd love to visit. I'll come, meet you for a cup of coffee. I absolutely will. Yep. Love Runs Rampant says, I keep saying it. Even the fooled are harder to convince that they have been fooled. Yep. But we get to be the difference. You get to go be the difference. Go be productive. It's not about working hard. It's about being productive. Right.
Be compassionate.
That's right. Go find humanity. We'll see you guys. Everybody have a good night.
Hold the line. Be out.